Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to a beautiful Sunday morning where we are about to commence with Chris Chan's part 56. Now, the actual video sort of went live at about 11 o'clock last night, 12 hours ago, and usually I kind of turn in for the night around about 10:30 or something like that, and unfortunately it means I didn't get to quite see this on launch. It kind of sounds really strange in saying that, but nevertheless, 12 hours later, we will get into it. So, last time, ladies and gentlemen, Chris completed an issue that he had on standby for nearly 8 years, and he's continuing to stalk over Doopy Doo over. I'm more concerned for Sorbet, because he got hit by a car in the last episode, and Chris basically just kind of flogged Sorbet on the internet, and then flogged and berated his own mother for money. And considering how deeper we're getting into this to the present day, and especially towards the end of 2017, Chris's life is a bit like, that iceberg, tier, the first is blue skies and then you're going deeper and deeper. This is kind of I feel like we're up to the 6th tier of the Chaos Emerald Pickles or whatever that shit was called. We're not quite at the bottom yet, but trust me, we're heading there. So, I'm gonna hold my hand, guys. You know what? Well, we need to be safe. So, let's begin. Part 56 in 3, 2, 1, and the additional warning. There should be an additional warning.
What made her this way? What is the attraction?
I can't turn away, that's what the attraction
What keeps
is.
us fascinated? This is the story of Chris Chan.
And those curtains are manky, you should have got rid of those. Part LVI.
On July 13th, 2017, in response to Planet Dolan creator Ladybot writing on Twitter of her want to spend all her time with her friends, Christine replied that she sent lots of love back at her. Twitter user James R. Landau then replied to them, linking to the YouTube video of Chris pepper spraying the GameStop employee in 2004.
Wait, hang on, what is this? Please sign the petition to help white South Africans to return to you. What the hell is that? What?
Chris left a reply. You can go fuck off. Quit trolling people with past, outdated BS.
Oh boy.
The next day, she uploaded a video on YouTube in which she reviews sour candy.
Hello everybody, this is Christine Chandler coming to you live from home once again with something really completely different.
Wow,
I present to you,
it took her a lot
if you're ever going to try this or a similar candy, soda with fizzy outer type coating that makes it fizz like soda in your mouth. Look at the image. If I get to the camera.
Yeah, you know what? I think I've had that type of that type before. I think I had it about nearly 10 years ago. It's not really much. If that's because I don't particularly like things that are overly sweet or overly sour. Just putting it out there.
Fizzy. It's good, but for a while, it's quite sour. I warn you. This is a live reaction.
Barbara probably thought somebody tried to break in.
Alright.
Maybe the firefighters. She's calling for Chris, I can hear her. Come on, Chris.
Too sour makes me put my fist up at impulse. I'm not going to hit anything. Damn, that's sour. I'll talk to you later.
This was soon followed by a new captain's log.
Why do you leave the front door open? Hang on. Now I'm beginning to see exactly how Sorbet wandered out to freedom somehow decided to get back, found out that the door was... I will bet you anything that was the reason why Sorbet got out and was hit by that car, because that poor... And I'm surprised nobody else decided to get out and escape, like Polo, Lucy, the dogs, Barbara.
And yes, we'll call this the Captain's Log. Captain's Log, stardate 0714-2017. 747. Who's the 747 flying overhead? Anyway, now, y'all will remember, my recent post where Roberta does the Sonic Rainbow. Kaboom! Big boom! But pretty much now is the only page, well, that and a few ahead where I actually added the rainbow. So I'm catching up on all the remaining pages, and about 5 pages to go, and I have to do all the rainbow work first. So you know how hard that is? Because I'm doing it one more.
Chris, I'm going to level with you right now, because I can't quite remember the name, but the artist behind Berserk passed away about 6 days ago. He could testify. He could tell you himself how hard it is to do it. And there was like a discussion about, people flogging Western artists just because of the slave-like conditions that Eastern artists have to go through. But I can tell you what, if for nothing else, then Chris doesn't... I'm not too sure if Christine qualifies for that sort of thing. Probably due to the quality. Actually, it is probably due to the quality. The quality is something that just Chris never understood about life.
Marker at a time, I've separated, and that's counting the additional colors. Gray for the soles of the shoes, black for the ears and whatnot, skin tone, for everything else that's about Roberta's sideshoe. So I am doing quite a bit of dedicated work coloring rainbows. Okay, so anyway, let's just let y'all know what I'm doing right now. And I thank y'all for your patience, and hopefully I'll have these pages uploaded onto my Patreon Sunday or Monday. Y'all have a good, safe day. Thank you.
On July 15th, Christine wrote a reply to a tweet from My Little Pony voice actress Tara Strong that she believed that there existed a dimension of Equestria, such as was depicted in the TV show, and thought that there could come a day when people and the ponies could meet.
This is where it begins, ladies and gentlemen. This right here is where the idea saga really begins. Because... may God have mercy on us all, because I know of the fucked up shit that happens. But oh my god. I not only do I know of the major parts, but I'm pretty sure there's also parts that I'm going to find out for the first time. And I pray for all of us, guys. You have my blessings.
The 19th, Chris commissioned voice actress and illustrator Doopy Doover $25 to make her a new profile picture of herself. Doopy provided 2 versions, one of Christine with glasses and one without. Chris expressed her adoration for the illustration and used it as the profile avatar for Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon. She also printed it out and hung it on the wall in her room.
Okay.
On July 22nd, Chris went to Twitter to encourage donations of around $50 as her family was in need of financial help.
Yeah, because you
The next day, Chris became Facebook friends with Doopy Doover. It was soon uncovered that the account was likely the creation of a troll pretending to be Doopy, as the account was deactivated shortly after. On August 1st, Doopy wrote that she kept experiencing panic attacks. Chris suggested some medication which had personally helped her. Also on that day, Christine became a patron for 2 more pages, Planet Dolan, which Doopy was a part of, and Kitten Bell, the account Doopy used to create pornographic illustrations. In response to a collage of nude drawings on the page, Chris left her a suggestion. I enjoy your drawing style, despite the content. I have an idea for the next one.
Hang on a minute. Despite... Chris is... Well, Christine is what you guys may call a simp. Just somebody who just throws money hoping to get somebody's attention. It's a parasocial interaction. Although in Christine's case, it's almost a parasite social interaction, because Christine is throwing away money she desperately needs, and you just saw a moment ago she's begging to send on to her PayPal, and now she's just straight up saying she doesn't even like the content. Christine, you are not... I've said this before, and I'll say it again many, many times. You are not responsible. People, they should never have given you money.
Or future one for your kitten Belle, Vinyl Scratch and Octavia, humans, being on each other. Maybe they're both sitting up, making out, and fondling/fingering. Put on a jammin' boombox, playing some dubba/cello mix. Later again, Christine wrote a tweet to celebrate National Girlfriend Day and tagged several voice actresses and creators, mostly those involved with My Little Pony or Planet Dolan, which included Doopy. She replied to Chris, simply writing, "You don't know me, Christine." Chris then replied, "Yes, I don't..."
Oh no, oh god. And now it's been this kitten ball is starting to unravel. Because, oh god, I don't know you, Christine. Yes, I do. I don't know you totally, but you are a good person. You know, if Christine... Listen, I know fine well Christine hates all males, just because... I strongly suspect that if I ever got big and she responded to me saying that I was a good person... Actually, you know what I would do, in all honesty? I would just straight up just not respond. Which is kind of bad, because I respond and talk to several people at a time on Twitter. Just because, it's about, just normal conversations and stuff like that. Christine's conversations are not normal. They are bordering on stalking. And I've heard of this Korean manga, I think it's called Killing Stalking. I wonder if this is what inspired the idea for Killing Stalking, because I think it came about late 2017, I think.
Don't totally know you, but you are a good person, like all I've listed here. Y'all are girls, and at least acquaintances up to friends. And that, to me, counts as much, because I'm thankful to have you all in my life.
Gotta love the fact that they had a profile picture of Pablo from the Backyardigans. At least I think this is Pablo.
And communication circle. Also, another VI detail. I care, and I wear my heart on my sleeve.
You probably shouldn't.
Doopy advised her against doing so, to which Chris wrote that she likes to care for others as well as herself, and quoted her favorite pin, which stated, "Caring people make a difference." Doopy told Chris that if she wore her heart on her sleeve, she would set herself up for disappointment. Doopy added further that Chris had made that mistake many times in the past, and that it was unhealthy and worrisome, so she should instead focus on herself. Chris replied that if she focused on herself all the time, then she would not be able to share her kindness and make many friends. Doopy responded by writing that she did not appreciate Chris's use of emojis and pet names, and did not agree with Chris supporting her on Patreon when her mother, Barbara, was sick and needed money. She further wrote that she did not appreciate receiving personal emails on her business account, finding it extremely creepy. She added that she wanted to refund the money as Barbara deserved it. Chris urged her to keep the pledges, as the Chandlers would be financially stable after receiving the payments from her own Patreon page.
Right, that's it. Okay, listen, guys. Let me just make something I'm gonna say this now, because I can. This shit breaks my heart. But let me explain to you how I do this, ladies and gentlemen. I actually, when I go to a voice-over artist or an artist I want to ask for a commission, I lay it out there. I tell them exactly what I would like for them, and I would just sort of drop in, would it be alright if I explained why I would want this and why, that sort of thing. I don't tell them my life story, and I don't become emotionally attached to the people I talk to. Like, there's this one voiceover artist. She is just like a friggin' rock. Don't get me wrong, guys. Because she's a great listener, and I ask her for commissions, and she delivers them. And that's perfectly fine. But two things, ladies and gentlemen. One, remember what I said about, handling money? I don't just ask her for commissions every single day. You know what? I've got to make money to pay for that sort of thing. You know what I'm talking about. Aside from, bills, everything else, because people like me are what you call responsible of handling money. Second thing I need to discuss, ladies and gentlemen, is that Chris has never necessarily gotten the idea in his head that she still thinks that she is entitled to a relationship with just about whoever she decides. And you've got to really respect Doopy's admiration. I did this once before. When I managed to get back onto my Patreon account, I went through the listings of people who had pledged me a lot of money, and I told them that I deeply apologized for being in I apologized from the bottom of my heart, that sort of thing, and asked them in full sincerity whether they wanted me to refund all of their money. I did that, ladies and gentlemen, because I felt as if I owed it to them, because I was out of commission for so many months, continuing to this day. They said no, and then I asked them whether or not it would be okay if I donated the money to charity. They told me, one person in particular, I'm not going to name names, they said, do whatever you like with it. I feel as if I still got my fair share of money from what you've managed to do. That's basically the gist of it. I'm saying these things, ladies and gentlemen, because Chris still is... Why would you go onto a person's business account and... No, Chris does not know how to do business. His business, Sonichu Incorporated of America, and Sonichu Entertainment of America, has as one of its employee benefits to be sexually harassed by Chris. And the money thing. I'm just gonna do something very interesting. Scroll through very briefly. So no, I'm just gonna continue.
She wrote that the previous month, her biggest spend was buying a complete printed set of Sonichu comics for her friend from the Pokemon League as a birthday present. Another Twitter user told Doopy Doover that Christine would not listen to her reasoning and said that Chris might let her mother die because she prioritized toys and emotional validation. Chris rejected those claims and blocked and reported the user. A different commenter told the artist that Chris would not give 1 cent to her mother. Chris rebutted, saying she had just bought her mother a lot of groceries. She went to Doopy's business email and sent her a message privately to discuss the matter.
Well, that didn't last long, did it?
Please, keep the $50. I want to help you a little better. Plus, I did want to get a shirt. I did not realize that was a business part, and I did not intend to come off as creepy. Believe me, I know that feeling from a crazy fan and what else. Plus, I'd learned years ago about what from me came off as creepy, and I tried to avoid those things.
Didn't stop you from doing them in the first place though, Chris, and you're still doing them to this day.
Second, this morning, after I awoke more from waking up after 2 a.m., I found Vim's tweet about hashtag National Girlfriends Day. I realized that while I still have yet to find my sweetheart, I did count y'all on Twitter as up to friends who are girls/women. I also counted my closet friends from Pokemon League, a couple of other gal pals, and one who likes me, but while I like her too,
Wait, hang on a minute. I also counted my closet friends. Okay, I'm assuming this just means personal friends and not people who are in the closet, because I'm pretty sure somebody would rebut, is this the friends that you neglected and you said could all go to hell for being homosexual? You can't just run away from your past, Chris. That shit catches up to you.
I have not met her yet. She lives not far from me, so the feeling is not yet totally fulfilled. I was showing my appreciation for my blessing of my growing circle of friends, local and far. I did not mean for it to go crazy like I did. Anyhow, I'm guessing this email is not your business email, but if it is, please correct me. I like talking with you from time to time, but not in anything beyond simple acquaintances to friendship. I am still learning what is okay and what is not okay to do, and taking notes
What is not okay to do? Chris, you're 35 years old. What do you mean you're still figuring this shit out? Most people learn this shit at 9 or 10 years old. What to do and what not to do. You're 25 years too late, Chris. And yes, listen, I know about, again, all people with autism have great deal in struggle with this sort of thing. But you've got to use your initiative every now and then. Chris, if you want people to believe you're actually empathetic, then display some empathy every now and then. That might be a good place to start.
For future and present references. Keep a happy thought, darling.
Don't.
Sent from my iPhone. Stay safe. Christine W. Chandler. Doopy wrote back that while she appreciated Christine's kindness, it had caused her a lot of problems. She intended to refund the pledges and let Chris use the money to buy a shirt from her online store. She added that she could not accept her patronage anymore and would appreciate if Chris did not tweet publicly at her for both of their sakes.
Just so you guys are aware, Doopy Do-Over suffers from bipolar disorder, so I will take this 100% seriously when she says it's causing her problems and it's too much for her to handle. I'm saying that because I absolutely believe in Doopy, because her behavior has been nothing short of remarkable and very, very mature when dealing with someone like Chris. She just knows what to do. That's what I'm saying.
On August 2nd, Christine made a video addressing the harassment the two have been receiving on Twitter ever since their public falling out.
Let's crap for a moment, okay? Because you're harassing other people, and it's at my expense. I do not appreciate that. If you want to harass somebody about me, talk bad about me, you send that harassment directly to me. No one else. I will not have my friends and allies.
Well, you know what? What about be disrupted subtly every time? What about your mother, Chris? Do you not feel as if like you could be doing a lot of things for your mother, like, you know, not leaving the door open, or, you know, actually taking care of your own house? Do you think you could do that, Chris? Because I feel as if, like, you know, you should start with your own. You should get your own house in order first. Look at this shit around you. How many are these PS4 games? How many are there? There's like, I count at least 14.
Be disturbed so abruptly every time. So, don't harass this person. Don't harass that person. You wanna talk smack about me? You talk directly to me. Do you understand? And don't.
Chris, I know fine well. You first off, you should probably back away from the screen. We can see you perfectly fine. We can see that you're somehow turning purple. I don't quite know how that's happening. Also, one thing you may need to understand, Chris, because I know fine well you haven't learned from this in the past. You remember when you said you would have people talk directly to you, and well, remember exactly what happened then when you started directly talking to people. Let's see, Bianca, Panda, Julie, Emily, Blanca, Casey, Alec, Jackie, and Catherine as well.
Don't ever let me catch you talking about me to anyone else on anyone else's timelines, comment sections, Twitter, or wherever. That's outside of your own goddamn forum, you trolls. Don't ever let me catch you bad-mouthing me to anyone, harassing them at my expense. Do you understand me?
I would say almost at this point, people, probably because of the internet, would probably at least have some idea of who Chris is. But even to those who don't, well, yeah.
You better damn well understand me.
Well, that ended abruptly.
She simultaneously went to Twitter to launch and promote the hashtag #HarassQuickDirectly, hoping to draw the ire of trolls to herself instead of Doopy Do-Over. She also reiterated the proper use of feminine pronouns when trolls referred to her. She accompanied her posts with drawings of Planet Dolan characters, all angrily declaring #Don'tHarassMe, with only Christine and 2 iconographs of eyes within hearts, stating #HarassQuickDirectly. Chris's drawn avatar had the hearted eye planted on her forehead, while all the Planet Dolan characters wore armbands displaying the eye symbol. She encouraged people who did not like seeing other people harassed at their expense to use the illustration of the purple eye and heart as their Twitter profile picture. Soon after, Chris explained the meaning behind the symbol in a Patreon post. The icon is a combination of wearing one's heart on their sleeve and the ability to see the injustice of those who harass other people at one person's expense, and because we are linked together by having seen such injustice done to someone or another we care about. We will not let the trolls, bullies, and haters get away with harassing others at our expense. It was also at around that time that users of the Kiwi Farms noticed that Chris was no longer a patron of any of the Patreon accounts run by or associated with Doopy Do-Over. Chris then changed back all the profile pictures of her social media accounts which had used Doopy's illustration, reverting back to the previous pictures used. On August 3rd, My Little Pony voice actress Tabitha St. Germain, who was one of the people Chris had tagged in her National Girlfriend's Day tweet, replied to it, stating that she did not read the other replies she was tagged in and would block anyone participating in group slagging off. Christine apologized to her, taking the blame for causing everyone being harassed because of her. She made a string of tweets explaining the reasoning why she made the initial tweet and hoped that people did not think of her less because of her mistake. Tabitha added that if Chris was having a fight on Twitter with someone, she should untag those parties not involved. Chris replied that she would, calling the voice actress darling.
Oh boy.
Her reply drew the ire of several Christian followers on Twitter, writing to her that she still failed to learn her lesson about calling strangers by endearing pet names and getting too close to them. Chris replied to each one of them with insults, using the slurs uncouth and cad several times, likely inspired by the manner of speaking of St. Germain's My Little Pony character, Rarity. Chris then moved on to a tweet from voice actress Tara Strong, making reference to actress Melissa Joan Hart, with whom she would be working. Chris expressed her surprise at the two working together, commenting that she liked Melissa. Meanwhile, Chris continued to reply to tweets insulting or making fun of her with quips and insults directed back at the trolls.
Oh boy.
On August 4th, Christine wrote an update on Patreon regarding uploads of new Sonichu pages. My most sincere apologies, everyone, but with the recent stresses of some people harassing people I liked, not harassing them, just a few thoughtful tweets now and then, towards a genuine friendship. I was never expecting sex, you uncouth twats who ruined nearly everything. I got distracted drawing the icon set for the friends/family.
Did you know call it twats? Because
nearly everything. I was never expecting sex, you uncouth twats who ruined nearly everything.
Sorry, Gino, I'm gonna have to, mistakes were made because listen, this is how you do twat. Okay, you pronounce it just that, twat. You twat. You uncouth twat. Twat your twatting Patreon twatting account. You absolute twat. I think I've made my point.
I got distracted drawing the icon set for the friends/family of one who was most affected with the trolls' harassment at my expense. Again, you got something to say against me, you tell it only to me and nobody else outside of your private forums. Definitely nowhere else on Twitter other than directly to me, Miss Christine Weston Chandler. I am she, and I like men as I like heavy metal music. I do not like heavy metal music.
Chris, well, unfortunately, you see, this is why I'm now beginning to suspect the idea that Chris would never ever go after me, because one, my channel is almost, it's basically heavy metal music, and it is literally in my bloodline. That is just it's one of my things I love the most. This isn't a personal ad, by the way. But also, in the words of the great Manowar, if you're not into metal, you are not my friend. I'll just leave it at that because I'm pretty sure. And he puts a sigh in there as well. I'm gonna freaking do a compilation of every single time Chris has ever sighed in his life, because this shit is just ridiculous. He has to let people know he's sighing.
Hardly a real beat or tune, and the lyrics are incoherent.
Liar.
Sigh. One of her patrons wrote that she had a pattern of violating the personal space of women, and that she should admit that the way Doopy acted towards her was not solely caused by troll actions. Christine replied that she knew that, adding that she had learned from her...
Actually, hang on, I'll just read this. Christine, you're giving the trolls what they want. Don't do it. I am sorry, but Doopy does not like you in any way. And that's not the troll's fault. You have this pattern of violating the space of women, and you need to stop for your own mental peace of mind. I know you've had a rough life, but there's no need to make it any worse by being unable to admit that this is not just the troll's fault. I know you want lady friends in life, like most of the people in your situation, but you can't undo all the good work you've done. Maybe you should visit with your therapist more often and talk about your feelings. Remember when you were doing that? It helped a lot. Good luck, Christine. Capital P. And you think I did not do that already? I've learned from my past mistakes. Doopy is going through her recovery of the recent harassment and trolls. Christine, you've learned. This is just a tone-deaf response. This doesn't answer anything.
Her past errors and mistakes, and that she did not violate women's personal space. She felt that Doopy liked her kindness while she was recovering from the harassment from all the trolls and bullies, who, according to her, ruined nearly everything.
Nearly everything.
On the 5th, Karen Riley, notable member of the Kiwi Farms who had interacted with Chris in the past, wrote on Twitter that Doopy was not her friend as she had specifically said. Chris disagreed, stating that they were not close yet, and that the phrase, "I am not your friend," was never written by Doopy. Doopy Do-Over herself then came to reply to Chris.
Oh no.
I can't believe I had to unblock you to tell you this. I'm not your friend. I'm not ever interested in being your friend. Leave me alone. You were specifically a customer to me, and you took it too far. You creeped me out. Now please don't talk to or about me ever again.
Damn.
Afterward.
Right, okay, so Doopy went from mature to basically telling Chris to basically fuck off. I'm not blaming Doopy for that, because I would have done that in her situation as well. It's because that's all I am to my patrons and that, who, you know, I ask commissions for. That's it. It's a business arrangement. And again, I don't get emotionally involved because that's not the right way to do it.
Chris sent a direct message to Karen Riley, telling her that Karen was no angel herself, and that she should go back to the forums. Chris then blocked her on Twitter. At around that time, Christine shared a profile picture that someone on Twitter allegedly made of her custom My Little Pony persona, Nightstar. This new user, who also used the handle @Nightstar2891, then proceeded to follow many accounts of My Little Pony voice actors and Planet Stolen creators, including Doopy Do-Over.
Yeah, you could have probably already guessed this is just Chris, because this is what Chris would start doing. He would make like sock puppet accounts just to follow people. That's, yeah.
The user would also defend Chris in Twitter replies. Many observers suspected that it was an alternate account created by Christine to defend herself in public tweets and to follow the people who had blocked her original account. On August 6th, Doopy created an account on Kiwi Farms and began leaking private emails she received from Christine regarding sending her character descriptions as reference for her commission and her apology for tagging Doopy in the original National Girlfriend's Day tweet. Doopy also revealed an email Chris wrote in response to watching her video about things she didn't understand, writing that she believed in alternate dimensions, where the characters they created continued to live their lives after their published stories are concluded. She added that she was also developing psychic powers through the listening of binaural beats, and could bend paper with her mind waves, hoping to only strengthen her powers through daily practice so that she could use them for good, such as levitating herself to fly. Also on that day, Chris switched back to using Doopy's illustration as her profile picture. Suspecting that the Nightstar Twitter account belonged to Chris, Kiwi Farms moderator and Quickie administrator Marvin direct messaged Nightstar on Twitter, pretending to be an observer of Chris Chan, stating that since they shared so many distinct writing quirks with Chris, that it was statistically impossible that they were different people. Nightstar confided that she was not Chris, and was in fact a Miss ES, and could possibly explain the similarities of writing style because both she and Christine were well-read and eloquent. Miss ES further wrote that she grew up in Richmond, Virginia, and graduated with a degree in psychological arts from the University of Virginia, and currently worked at several McDonald's in the area. On occasion, she conversed with Christine at McDonald's and found her to be a very kind and understanding person. Nightstar was so hurt that so many people misunderstood her intentions after the National Girlfriend's Day tweet. Miss ES
Chris, you're not fooling anyone.
wrote that she was into examining the mental state of others from what they drew, created, and the media they consumed. She felt that Marvin's persona was racially conscious and a little religious based on the media he shared on Twitter, and that he was as old-fashioned as Donald Trump. Marvin felt that if it were Chris behind the account, they could have been receiving help, on the count of Nightstar using unusual terminology, like racially conscious. On August 7th, the Nightstar account messaged back Marvin's account with screen caps of Nightstar's messages with Christine's account. Chris told the alleged Miss ES to not talk with the trolls, but did not control her, and would not judge her on her bad actions, but her good deeds, like she did with Doopy. Chris elaborated to Nightstar on why Doopy felt uncomfortable with Chris, sharing screen caps of the posts Doopy wrote on Kiwi Farms. As an aside, on August 1st at 3 AM, Chris wanted to pledge $50 per month to her half-brother Cole Smithy's Patreon account, only to find that he had blocked her from contributing. Then she went to Doopy Do-Over's Patreon to try and raise her pledge amount.
How bad does things have to get when your own half-brother just straight up says, no, you know what, I don't want your money, I don't want your sympathy, I don't want anything from you. That is fucked, but it's kind of funny how... Wow.
Amount from $25 to $50 for the month, but saw that her $25 pledge for August had already been collected and was unable to raise it. She then sent an extra $25 directly to Doopy, writing that by doing so, she could receive the benefits of the $50 tier. In reference to Doopy discussing the backlash she would be getting, Chris wrote that the artist found the backlash of being friends with Christine worse than being associated with the so-called damn uncouth trolling stupids. She wrote that she would have continued to be kind to Doopy as a friend, since she knew that Doopy had a boyfriend, because she had matured mentally and emotionally, and unlike the trolls claimed, Chris never expected sex. Upon researching the Twitter account's claims, members of the Kiwi Farms saw that the top bars of the mobile screenshots provided by both Christine and Nightstar contained mobile carrier information and other active utilities that matched, and that both Twitter accounts were registered to phone numbers with matching final 2 digits.
Way to go,
Also,
Chris.
when attempting to change the password of the Nightstar account, a confirmation email would be sent to an email address that was for the most part censored to those attempting to hack it. However, from the few characters that were shown, it was almost certainly confirmed to match a little-known email address found in a leaked email Chris had written to a gal pal in 2014, volcanoinsuranceidiot@yahoo.com. Furthermore, the handle Nightstar2891 contained Chris's year of birth backwards. Publicly, when asked, the Nightstar account denied that it was Christine. After persistent pestering, Chris herself then chimed in to state publicly that she was not Nightstar2891. On August 8th, Chris posted a photo of her cat Lucy to commemorate International Cat Day. To dispel rumors, she then added that her other cat, Sorbet, was still alive and well. Soon after, she posted a photo of Sorbet sitting on her bed.
Look at her.
The next day, Chris claimed that an Emily, who was allegedly responsible for the Nightstar Twitter account, saw her at McDonald's that morning and came a runnin' because she was scared off from all the trollsome allegations that her Twitter account was run by Christine. Chris blamed the trolls for ruining nearly everything. In the meantime, Chris watched YouTube videos in an attempt to learn how to communicate with the dead, predict the future, and levitate.
You gotta be
On
kidding
August
me, really.
11th, Chris wrote, "I'm sleepy as fuck, but falling asleep. I'm out of luck. Root de doot. On that same day, in response to a Patreon comment criticizing Chris Chan Sonichu for
I'm starting to suspect right now that the idea guys didn't even really need to like, get involved. Chris was already showing debilitation mentally in his... God damn it.
having two quote-unquote tumors on his chest. Chris tweeted, "Take that batch of hay and put them in some apples. Eat your candles, dumbasses. My breasts are real. I am woman. Never tell me otherwise, haters. Here's a good thought. Cyberbullies are the tumors of humanity and the world. They should cut themselves out. I do not have tumors, dummies."
No, but you have once tried to cut yourself, Chris. We all know that. And now we're back. Good times.
Also on August 11th, Chris arrived at the Baltimore Convention Center in Baltimore, Maryland for her 3-day stay at BronyCon, a convention focused on the My Little Pony franchise. According to Kiwi Farms user Love You Long Time, the troll behind the Kim Wilson persona, notified forum readers that Christine drove herself to Baltimore and was staying at a hotel with supposed lady friends. A Facebook friend wrote that she would be ready to assist Chris's mother Barbara if need be. Among the possessions which she brought with her were original copies of the Sonichu comics, snacks, and My Little Pony figurines. Many photographs of her were posted on Twitter and Facebook, mingling with other attendees, while prominently wearing pink feline ears and a strap-on unicorn horn. On the first day, Chris met Kathy Wesseluk, a voice actress from the TV show, and posed for an autograph with her, with Kathy holding up a copy of Sonichu Issue 0, which she had autographed. According to Claire Porter, a follower of Chris Chan whom she met at the convention, Chris talked to Kathy for close to 25 minutes, discussing topics involving Sonichu and Quickville. Claire added that the voice actress showed Chris friendship and support, albeit treating her like a child. On the second day, she attended a panel discussion titled Keeping Friendship Magic, The Odd Pony Out. Afterwards, when asked for an autograph, Chris signed a piece of paper which purportedly stated that she relinquished her soul to the individual who asked for an autograph. The person who got it also covertly recorded audio of Christine's conversation with himself and another attendee, discussing some recent pages from her comics.
And I'm on Patreon too, later pages.
Okay.
I definitely want to show her Roberta's Sonic.
The rain boom. You know we love a good Sonic rain boom.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It was nice to meet you.
Hey,
I hope you have a
believe
great
in everybody
day.
and believes in you and believe in yourself. You'll be able to make your own Sonic rainbow.
Yeah.
Chris, you like use believe 3 times in one sentence. God damn. How did you... Chris wanted to be in a career in terms of like, you know, creating comic art and... Wow.
All right. Okay, well, let's go with Miss Dana.
Excuse me, Christine?
Yes.
Oh, it's lovely to meet you. I heard you'd be here, but I didn't know I'd meet anyone. I was wondering, it's not too much trouble, could I... Oh, I'd love a selfie. But if I could get an autograph, I'd love that too.
Okay, I'll give you an autograph with my own pen.
Oh, you have your own?
Another convention goer reported on their encounter with her on the My Little Pony forum on the image board site 4chan. "I played poker against her in the tournament and she got really fucking mad when I accidentally called her him. I never cared to call someone by their shitty preferred gender, but fuck you got to give me some time to figure out what you fucking want to be called. It was a paired tournament, so we didn't have a choice who we played. And she can't play worth a shit, but she did manage to build off of idiots. She lost it all chasing though. I met her again at the gala, and she's been glaring at me. Lol."
How much did she lose?
Another person more knowledgeable of her recounted their experience with meeting Chris.
Okay.
"I found Chris Chan at a panel and gained his trust. I asked him if his Sonichu medallion was authentic, and he said, 'I am the she that used to be that he that,' and then quickly showed me the first edition of Sonichu. Then he shook my hand for some reason." Kristen met Kelly Sheridan, voice actress for the character Starlight Glimmer, who signed one of Chris's illustrations and took a photo with her, holding up a figure of the character she voiced while Chris held up her customized
I gotta love how half of these people are just smiling very, very unnaturally, like... In fact, actually, I've got an idea. Let's get in on this. Let's see. Imagine I'm here. Let's imagine. Okay, I'm this woman here. This is like. Tell me if this looks normal. No, that shit does not look normal, does it? It looks forced as hell. Okay, there we go.
figurine made to look like herself. Chris was then spotted at Bronypalooza, a My Little Pony themed concert. She then made her way to the Grand Galloping Gala, a formal dance party.
Oh, there she
She
is.
was filmed conversing with some of the other convention attendees and posing for photos. After failing to find a dance partner, Kirsten began seemingly dancing with an imaginary person, later claiming that she was dancing with her original character, Magi-chan Sonichu.
And well, I'm not too sure what that dance is supposed to be, but yeah, this is also the very strange relationship between Chris and Magi-chan will take place as well. Wait, actually, hang on. You know what this needs? You know what? As sad as this sounds, I feel like there's one thing I actually have to kind of like put on, because I feel like it will make things easier to understand. Like, let's see. I need to put this music on. What was it? Oh god, where is this? Where is the music? Oh, okay, here it is. Right.
Character she voiced, while Chris held up her customized figurine made to look like herself. Chris was then spotted at Bronypalooza, a My Little Pony themed concert. She then made her way to the Grand Gallop.
Tell me if you've not heard of this meme done before. So, you gotta wonder as well what how Chris smelt, possibly. I know that's like a very impersonal sort of like thing to talk about, but Chris's reputation with, you know, hygiene is not being great.
She was also photographed sitting by herself, supposedly talking and reaching out to Magi-chan next to her. After the event concluded, Chris went back to her car to drive back to the hotel for the night. However, the parking lot where she parked had closed at midnight and she was unable to enter. She resorted to using the ride-hailing service, Uber, to help her get back to her hotel. On the third and final day, Christine apparently shared a ride with other convention-goers from the hotel to make their way back to BronyCon. She then attended a fan comic panel. A 4chan user posted a selfie he took with her and wrote of Chris's behavior. He's in the fan project panel now. He spent 3 minutes complaining about his trolls and how autistic he is, and he turned away the microphone so no one can hear what he's saying.
Oh.
Another
really?
unknown user elaborated on Chris's time at the panel. It was at the fan project panel, and he even asked a question and rambled on about how he had comics and a fandom, though never explicitly stating it was Sonichu. He even said the high-functioning autistic line. He also mentioned being trolled, not having many friends, and all that, and honestly felt kinda bad for him, though most of the shit he has gotten over the years was his own self-inflicted stupidity, so can't feel too bad for him. But yeah, that's been the weirdest thing at this convention by a long shot. Like, at most 5 to 10% of the thousands people I've seen and heard were weird or cringy, but nearly everyone here is either normal or just standard nerds. But seeing and hearing Chris Chan, dear God, that was hard to deal with. Afterwards, she went to another panel featuring voice actors from the cartoon series and managed to ask them a question.
Oh my god.
But yeah, let me talk. Y'all did answer part of my question.
Oh god, I don't even think I would have liked it. Oh god, you know. I've never asked a question at a convention before because I don't particularly think there's like any way, shape or form I can actually stand there and be dignified and just not come across as slightly awkward, because it's a weird sort of thing to talk about. But you have to wonder exactly, and again, I'm not really shaming people who like My Little Pony or anything like that. But you generally have to be very, very concerned if Chris really did, because I have no reason to disbelieve he would talk about his autism, all the comics he did, his fandom, and being so self-indulgent in his what he considers his fame. And then because this is a big screen, by the way, a lot of people are seeing this.
Starting with, I like kites from that episode of My Little Pony. I did see ad-lib and impulsive, so obviously do get opportunities to play. What ideal ad-lib would you like to contribute eventually in any show, including My Little Pony? And which ones have you done so far are your personal favorite? Not counting I like kites.
Is that a question for all of us?
At the end of the day, she made a short tweet writing that she was on her way back home, allegedly riding alongside Magi-chan. When she got back, she wrote a Facebook post thanking everyone who attended the convention for all the love and kindness they showed for her, making it possible for her to shine as the actual kind and open-hearted person that she was. She stated that her time in BronyCon was the most love she had ever felt in her life.
Really?
On August 14th, she made a captain's log for YouTube, addressing
So hang on, did your parents' love mean nothing to you, Chris, or did they generally show you so little? I don't even know what to say to something like that. If I said something like that, I think I would have been disowned. I don't think I would have ever been allowed to be acknowledged by my family ever again. God damn.
the convention while still wearing her cat ears and unicorn horn.
Captain's log. Stardate 08142017. So last weekend, BronyCon. Awesome. Totally awesome. I had an awesome time.
This room is deteriorated again. Chris's his lexicon is deteriorating by the day. This is ridiculous, Chris. Look at all of this junk.
I met so many kind people. I've found so much positivity and love. I made new friends and acquaintances in higher places. I've attended some panels and I've learned a lot too. I have so many new lovely memories and ideas. I am so inspired.
Well, that's good, Chris. I'm happy for that.
Here's a little Twilight from the future. It does a little bit about the future for Saichu and me and everything. First off, book 13, or as I'm going to call it, book 12-9, which will round up to 13 because I don't like using 13. It's an unlucky number.
Yeah, but it makes no sense.
At least to me. Yes, superstitious. Oh, future character reference says, I came back from the future in number 10. Came back from the future. She comes back from the future it works. Anyway, so first off, book 12-9. I never wanted the 13th book, the book 13, to have newer character new, and that happened. Oh well. Zoop. It's all right. We'll put the eye patch back on and fix it up. And originally the idea would have been the Planet doing crossover. Wow, actually in the Quickville universe, this has actually happened. But because due to difficulties with a most heartfelt tweet that I did recently that backfired on me, my heart was really into that. My heart has always been in the right place.
Are you sure,
Try to
Chris?
understand that, everybody. Okay? My brain's a little slow right now. I have so many ideas and everything. So much good news. Positivity. Boop, boop.
You know, deep down inside, ladies and gentlemen, I'm actually sometimes very, very skeptical about doing these videos at all, because there are times, ladies and gentlemen, I have to seriously remind myself that exactly of the sort of person we're dealing with. Not because of the troubled history of, criminal history or anything like that, but the fact that this person, Chris, is, I'd say autistic. Well, yes, that's obvious, but how far on the spectrum? Like, I don't particularly think there's like a... From my understanding about autism, because autism is something I know parts of it. I don't, despite being, having with Asperger's myself, there's not a great deal I can necessarily say about like very specific sort of terminology. Because unlike Chris, I don't utilize stuff like Wikipedia as a primary source of information. This is despite the fact that I use the Quickie, which is kind of like an offshoot, but that's how it is anyway. But as far as my understanding goes, on the autism spectrum, you can be... imagine the autism spectrum is like the solar system, with the sun in the middle and Pluto just skirting on the very edges of the solar system. I know that's not technically how it works, but that's just for this example. Chris is somewhere, I would say, between the middle of the middle between Pluto and the sun. People who are basically at the sun are terribly, terribly affected. I've seen many, many cases, ladies and gentlemen, where people are in that state where they can't look after themselves. They rely almost 24/7 on assistance. There's a very specific example that I remember that happened a few years ago, where I'm not gonna really state exactly what happened, because I don't particularly that's fair to the person in question. But that's obviously, from what I've observed with my own eyes in person, that was like autism at its very worst, because I don't even like using that phrase, to be honest, because it seems to suggest that there is no way to recover from something like that, which is not true. Autism is neurological. It changes as the brain develops, which is why I think with Chris, I think there may be something wrong. I don't necessarily know if it's like he had some like developmental issues, because he had a mental, like he had an evaluation when he was like 23 or 24. Obviously, that would have shown that if Chris had any other sort of symptoms of any other disorder or disability. Which is why I would suggest Chris is like somewhere in the middle, where he has 1 foot in reality and one foot in whatever world he wants to be in, where he wants to dance with an imaginary character. And starts, again, rubbing his cheek with Fluffleduffle and just playing it, blowing raspberries. I don't want to say this is not normal behavior, because I don't think that's fair at all for the person we're talking about. But what I will say, ladies and gentlemen, is that with what's been said in this video already, with what Chris said about, feeling loved and everything, I'm actually going to go on a whim and say that maybe there is truth in what she just said, that it was the most love she ever felt in her life. Is that level 42 playing in the next room? Yes, it is. But that's just my 2 cents on it. Chris, I'm gonna level with you. When it comes to autism, it's obvious I've seen exactly the implications and what's happened as a result. Because this is what happened. Because this is what it's reduced Chris to. This is the consequence of everything that has happened in Chris's life. For stuff that was Chris's fault, for stuff that wasn't, for stuff that... Yeah. I wonder generally if any of the... if trolls like Liquid or Casey are looking back on this now and wondering, maybe we shouldn't have done this. Do you ever think that, guys? The only troll I really feel as if, didn't was Alec.
Don't follow me. Whoop. Up.
There you go. That is an awesome pill by itself in that size, by the way.
She's so fluffy and cuddly.
You don't need a jumbo fluffle.
You got this one.
The right size. Okay, that's another big announcement. I'll do a panel. Maybe at next year's BronyCon. Maybe at another certain Charlottesville convention that's coming up. And then I'll lose my train of thought again.
I don't want to, spoil anything, but one of those conventions that's coming up is Too Many Games. Oh, boy.
Bear with me. I'll find it. I'll get back on the rails.
What do you think is the next announcement, Flufflepuff? Really? Come on. You know better than that. You know better than that.
I will refer you to the last 10 minutes of me speaking about autism. I will just refer you to that.
Main event knows better than that.
That's it. Doop doop, it's nine, it's nine. Boop 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 boop. Boop boop.
No script. This is good.
There you go. I'm not looking at my spider. Go ahead and laugh.
And go ahead and laugh at that. My dogs are barking at something that's outside. Possibly, likely, nothing. I have to put up with it. It's my family. And here comes my mother with a thought that she's interrupting this live streaming video. So she's going to have to wait a moment. Anyway. I think that's all the announcements.
You know what? Actually, I'll tell you what. No, I'm going to go back on my word. You know what, ladies and gentlemen? No. No. I've just realized, ladies and gentlemen, no. Remember what I said before about what I thought about Chris if he really did think that he had the more love than any other point in his life a few minutes ago? No. Well, it was like 20 or so minutes ago. But listen, the point I want to make is this, because, oh my god. To quote the movie Mother for 1 second, Chris's parents did not dislove Chris, but Chris was too selfish to love them back. Because Chris is selfish. There you are. God damn it, Chris.
And everything in my thoughts and it's all good. I love everybody. I do. From the bottom of my heart.
I don't believe that,
A lot
Chris.
of you have been able to see that
I really don't.
finally was able to present that personally to a lot of friends and people that I was able to make. It was just awesome. It felt so good. I'm gonna carry this with me forever. And I'm not gonna just be like, oh, yes, you're gonna be kind to me. I am thankful for your kindness. Now go get me some coffee. That's not me. That's not me.
Chris, 6 parts ago, you completed a level in Uncharted, and you said, there, I made it out alive, now give me $5. Yes, you have, Chris. Numbnuts, we know you've done... Chris, you want to know something very, very interesting that I think could get you out of a lot of trouble? If you just stop lying to people. Why don't you just say that the reason why I was following Doopy and pledging money is so I could get in her pants? Why don't you just say that, Chris? That would clear a lot of confusion, because past behaviors have suggested you would...
Okay? I have emotionally and mentally, heartfelt, soul-felt, matured and grown.
No, you haven't.
I'm thankful and blessed to have been able to show that over the past weekend
Are you sure about that?
to a whole lot of people touch me. I get to touch them.
And I get to touch them. The next convention will suggest why you should not do that, but we'll talk about that next time. Or whenever that happens. Maybe part 58. With...
Make them smile. We made each other smile. It was a great thing. Anyway, that's it for this live stream. Look forward to the next one, which hopefully will be Q&A laptop. Christine Chandler, Sergeant Roast Juice, City of Quickville. Had a fantastic BronyCon weekend. I look forward to seeing y'all again, or talk to y'all sooner. See y'all next year. Love it. Have a great, safe, blessed day. And stay well. Stay good. Stay heartfelt positive.
On August 15th, the Twitter account Nightstar2891 posted a handwritten letter from Chris. Dearest people, confession time. Originally intended for laying low and to keep a distant bond, still on a few hurt individuals I like and cared about after that one tweet wonder mess. This Twitter account @Nightstar2891 is me, Christine Chandler. Again.
Well, somehow my words made... She is being honest. There you go. That's... Can't get mad at her for falling through on this idea, I suppose.
That mentioned tweet was truly with my heart in the right place to share appreciation for and of the women I've been able to make contact and acquaintance with. Then some other people took wrongful attack upon them at my expense. I felt terrible about that. 2 of them blocked me, but Hater informed in that. I pray they will unblock and open up to me again soon. This also is reflected in MLP Season 7, episode Fame and Misfortune. The main 6, or 5 of them, were not used to being criticized overly by fan ponies, as well as misread and misunderstood. I, too, felt all this as early 2007. I'm popular, and I don't like it, said Applejack, and how Rarity overreacted. Fluttershy having to explain herself repeatedly. All that was me, and it took a long time to adjust and become resistant to the hate. I am in control of how these various reactions to my Sonichu and self content make me feel and react. I try to not let the critics get to me anymore, and everyone affected by the misunderstood tweet of mine. You all have control to not let the haters and trolls affect you at all. 2. This Nightstar Twitter was a Lalo alternative for me after that fiasco. I was not originally going to tweet from it. Then one of the trolls contacted me. I was tempted to troll the trolls now. Dumb me. Pfft. But the trolls, on their forum, have admitted to being well confused with my character's creation of this Richmond gal with a UVA degree working around and around. I can be quite the actress, even in simulating other fonts from other people. Regardless, lying all that was wrong of me, and I am sorry for lying in this. And, as I was finally able to share at BronyCon with a lot of people, I am, by default, a kind, understanding, compassionate.
Nobody is born with being kind at default, Chris. You learn how to be kind. That's not how that works.
Heart in the right place person and individual, and I enjoy sharing genuine, pleasant smiles, moments, and memories with others, and my heart is open. I would delight in all of us putting this Twitter mishap set behind us and moving on towards being better people. Thank you, sincerely, and with all my heart with love. I'm sorry. Miss Christine W. Chandler. BronyCon made Christine feel loved and accepted due to the nature of the attendees generally maintaining an air of acceptance and kindness, though often it was a merely face value courtesy. Riding high on waves of happiness, Christine would soon be met with dark clouds once again.
And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That was the end of part 56. I think, just because I know I've been here long enough, I'm just going to keep this very, very simple, because I felt conflicted once again in listening to this, because it's terrible the things Chris does, yes, and how he handled Doopy, but it's also, I'm kind of had to relate and somehow convince myself, well, understand exactly the nature of the sort of person we're talking about. With that being said, however, with what's coming up next, because 2017 is coming to an end, and I think those who know what's coming. Well, I hope, to basically cut this short, they say that all you need is love. But what's going to come up next, and considering the disturbing behaviors of Chris, with Magi-chan in this episode, I think Chris is going to need something a little bit stronger than love coming up. But with all that being said and done, I hope you guys have been enjoying this reaction to part 56. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below, and let me know what you guys thought about part 56 as well, and Chris's still very concerning behavior. And I will hope to see all of you guys again in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye for now.